either make them up or we will try to guess.
We will pretend.
How many of you guys have finished the series? Okay.
Awesome. Are you guys watching it on Adult Swim?
I am.
Awesome.
So the people who haven't finished it are watching on TV, is that the idea? Okay.
Great. Well, pay attention. I'll be live tweeting tonight with the broadcast. I try to do it. Sometimes I'm asleep by then, but I will be live tweeting tonight. Follow me on Twitter. It's at David Vincent VA for voice actor. Follow me on Twitter, and me and Erica Mendez and a number of other cast members like to live tweet during the show. So it's loads of fun. So watch with us tonight.
I will probably be sleeping. I'll probably be writing. I have things to do. So, how do you guys want to do? You just want to open it up to questions? Do you want to start with saying anything? How were you cast? Did you guys audition for it? I'm serving as moderator.
You're doing a darn good job, Stephanie. Yeah, I mean, why don't you?
So let's talk about like how we were cast. You want to talk about how you were cast in the show?
Yeah, so I got a ton of auditions for probably all the female characters, and I submitted. Didn't hear anything back, and I knew that the show was cast and it was already going on, but then they called me in for Rei Homaru, and I got to play her.
Again, same thing. What they'll do is the production company will send us a series of characters and sides, and so I knew nothing of the show. I had never even heard of it until I got these sides. And I auditioned for it, and I got called back. And normally, it's not typical that you get callbacks out of you usually, for voiceover anyway. You typically will just get it or you don't. And so for this particular series, I got called back, and so I went in to the callback. And before I went in to go to the callback, I actually went and Googled it and looked it up online and kind of did a little more in-depth research rather than just the materials that they gave me for the first audition. And was kind of blown away. I was like, what on earth is this show really about? And so I got to watch it a little bit further and realized just how funny it was. And so I got really excited to be a part of it. Went in, did my callback, and the funny thing was, and I don't know if you guys ever felt this way or not, but a lot of other cast members, we've discussed this, we started recording the show, and when I found out that I had actually gotten the role of Senkat, I was really excited. I was like, wow, I've never played a uniform before, but that'll be fun. But I kept on thinking that I was going to get fired for some reason. And it's so funny because Erica...
Were they doing a lot of takes? Is that why?
A lot of takes. Oh my gosh, we were doing so many takes. We would do just for a standard 102. I mean, a standard 102, just so you know, and I know you guys have all heard this before, but this is called a standard 102.
By the way, it's not. It's like a nickname that I think Lex Lang came up with. Yeah. That he basically was joking that there's so many gasps that there's stereotypical certain gasps in anime that appear, and so he started saying it's like a category. Like this is like a 102. So then that's what people refer to it. But it's not that. That's how it came up.
I call it the dude of voice acting, of nonverbal voice acting, because the standard 102 can mean so many different things, just like the word dude can mean so many different things. You could say, dude means hello, dude, or dude can mean you stink, dude, right? Standard 102 can do the same thing in voice acting, where, hello, right? You stink. So at any rate, I kept on thinking I was going to get fired just because we would do take after take after take after take after take after everything. So, but anyway, so I was super stoked. That's how I got cast in Kill la Kill.
I auditioned, I think. I don't really remember. But I don't think I got all of the auditions. I feel like I only auditioned for Nui. I might have, I don't know. I didn't get, did they just give you a whole package?
I got Ryuko, Nui, Mako, I think that was it.
I got Senkat, Kinagase, and Gamagori.
Oh, and No Known.
So it sounds like they handpicked which characters to have.
Oh yeah.
Us read.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember. I don't really remember. I just remember, the show had started recording, and then, oh no, you know what it is? They sent me an email said you'd been cast in Kill la Kill, and then they never booked me. you know. And then I heard people were like working on it and whatever. I was like, oh, they said I was in that, but no one ever called me up, and it was like a long time. It was like sometimes like, oh, your episode doesn't come in until later, and it's, you know, a few weeks. But it was like months. I felt like it was like half a year.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh, well, maybe they changed their mind. Maybe I'm not in it anymore. And I wasn't really following the show. I didn't really know. And then I think I went in for some other show. It might have been Sword Art. And Alex was directing and Hiroe was producing. And they had said, oh, no, you're gonna be in it. And then Hiroe gave me the first DVD to watch, even though I'm not in it. And it was already completed, so that I could kind of, you know, just see the show and the tone of the show. And it was really funny. It was really funny, but I can only watch 2 episodes at a time because it's so loud.
Yeah.
It's too much yelling. You know, like I'm like, oh my God, just stop yelling. But it's funny, but it was like all yelling all the time. It's like, what's the other show? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's hilarious. But those people are so awful to each other. That's another show I cannot marathon. It's really funny, but after a while, I just feel like, oh, these people are so horrible. It's like, there's like a limit for me. Anyway, so then they were, no, you're coming in, and then I finally got called in, and I was like, oh, okay. But the funny thing is that people started, there was somebody who was like tweeting about it, that they had hoped that I would get cast specifically for that role before I even went in. Yeah, that was even before I even went in and recorded. So I wasn't even like sure. And then I actually had to look up, and I was like, chill, wait a minute. Is that the part I got cast in? Because I got that early email and then never got called in and booked, and I like looked it up and I was like, oh, it looks like it is. And I was like, but I don't even know if I'm working on it anymore. So, so that's my story.
One of the weird things, though, is we started recording it, and Alex Von David was the director of the series, and so the voice director, and Alex, we finished the first 4 episodes, and Alex he takes me outside and he's like, by the way, we won't see you again for like another 6 months, because they took a long break between recording like the first few episodes before going in for the second volume.
Do you know why that was?
I have no idea. But I know that it was like right around, we went back into the booth again right before Anime Expo last year. But it was a period of, I think it was like 3 or 4 months.
Maybe it was like a year. Like maybe it was a year before I got called in. I don't know. So strange.
Yeah. I kept on wondering. I was like, are they going to call me back for that? You know? I don't know. It was crazy. Who has got a burning question that they would like to ask us? Go ahead.
Your most famous what? Oh, bloopers. Do you remember your best bloopers? Yeah. I don't remember. Do you remember?
I remember saying something about Ryuko's mom when I went offline. At the end of each episode, and they don't do this on Adult Swim because I guess it's a timing issue, they had to cut it out, but if you have the DVDs and you're watching the DVDs, Senket's, my character, does the announcements for the upcoming episodes. And each episode is named after a song that the writers were listening to when they completed each episode. And so, fun fact, I didn't realize this. So that's why the titles of these episodes are so random. And so one title of an episode was called Tell Me Why by Bronski Beat. And this is an old 80s song, way before your guys' time. And so we were doing it, and I have to announce, coming up next on Kill la Kill, in this voice. And instead of like doing it in the normal voice, I busted out in the song. And tell me why! And Alex and Hiroe were literally on the floor in the studio. So that was a good one. Cristina.
Oh man, I don't have anything. I didn't have any bloopers.
Are you the type of actor that does bloopers? Because I know that some people love bloopers. Like I know that like when I've worked with Steve Boone before, like and he'll give you bloopers, but he doesn't tell you. He goes, oh man, can I do it again? Like he makes it like he wants to do another take, and then he gives you like he just throws down something hilarious, some hilarious blooper in there for you to keep. You know, I don't tend to do that. Do you guys tend to do that?
Once in a blue moon. I don't do it very often. If it's honestly, if it's because here's the thing: is when you're doing a take, even if you feel when you're doing the take, don't stop. even if you feel like the take is gonna stink. Complete it anyways, because I can't tell you how many times, even when I've directed somebody, I'm getting the perfect take from them, and they don't feel it, and so they stop, and it's annoying. So you always want to kind of complete it. But every once in a while, I know, like if the take is just going south, yeah, I'll ad-lib and throw in something funny, just because, why not?
I think for me, it depends on like the tone of the show. If it's something lighthearted and goofy, then I will. But if it's like super serious, I don't like to break out of it.
Yeah.
So.
I guess I just not like it just doesn't cross my mind. I always forget.
Yeah.
And then when I do think of something, I'm so embarrassed, like that I don't like. It doesn't usually get recorded, you know. Like I just tell the director what my funny or what I thought was
what
funny.
The thought.
Yeah, what the thought was like after the fact. I don't like do it in record. I don't know. I'm embarrassed because what if you think it's funny and then you like lay down the blooper and then it's like crickets, like no one laughs. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't do it.
I did that once. We were recording on Fake Zero with Hero and I think Tony was directing that. And it was a standard 102. And I don't know what I was thinking, but in the animation, the 102 would have been like, that would have been the proper 102, but instead I went, like that. They were like on the floor. Sometimes, every once in a while, it'll strike me and I'll do something
Do you
random.
guys tend to swear when you mess up?
Not really.
Oh, I do.
All of a sudden, she turns into a sailor.
Yeah.
I burp a lot.
I do too. Voice acting makes me burpy. I just gotta like breathe. You're like you gotta like take in a lot of air, and then it makes you belchy.
In Madoka, we were doing a take, and I burped really loud afterwards. So for the rest of the recording of that movie, they just placed this random burp in different places.
I wish they had changed your burps into the beeps. You know. That would be awesome. Who else had questions?
What was some of your most touching moments for your own characters?
I can't really divulge too much just because I don't want to give away any spoilers for those of you who haven't seen. There are very, very touching moments between Senketsu and Ryuko, specifically towards the end of the series. The relationship between the two of them really develops into something special. And that's all I want to say because I don't want to give away any spoilers, especially since it's now on Adult Swim and a lot of folks are watching it on TV. So I don't want to give too much away.
Where are we in terms of what episode? Like how far along is
This might be episode 6.
That's it?
Yeah.
6,
That's
I
barely
think.
anything.
Yeah.
6, 7, I think. Something like that.
I can't say really, but my character goes because she came in and she kind of had a small part in the series. So I was like, that's really fun. And then the episode 25 happened, and I can't really say anything about it, but I really like that they took her through this huge arc in such a short time.
My character is, I don't know, not so much, like sometimes you think it's going to be touching, but then it's not.
Yeah.
What? Don't say it. She's a little crazy.
Yeah.
She's
She's out there.
I tend to do crazy characters.
I will say, and I think it might be tonight's episode. If it happens to be the episode where the Monconcho family.
I think it's episode
7? Okay. Well, check out episode 7. There's a very, very touching moment in that episode where literally I was laughing hysterically when I was watching it, and within 30 seconds I'm like tearing up because it's so touching. I just think the show is written so well. In the comedy, and I mean, it has everything. There's comedy, there's drama, and it's just really well put together. Episode 7 is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
What on earth have I gotten myself into?
It's weird. It's like super. It reminded me of something, but I can't place it. It was like totally like on speed, but then it was also like super violent, like super violent to the point that it was like it didn't matter. It was like, you know what I mean? Like you get like really violent, and then you get past that point of violence that it's almost less violent because it's so violent. Does that make any sense at all? But I will say that I absolutely adored Christine in it. Mako was so adorable. Really, really cute.
Honestly, the humor is really what struck me. I love the stylized animation and the way that it's animated, along with the amazing writing of the show. But to me, a show in an anime series that can make me laugh out loud, that to me is something special. And so I was very proud to be a part of it.
I do think Nui is probably the cutest character I've ever.
She's a pistol.
Her outfits, there are hearts everywhere.
Yeah.
I literally, like, when I would do it, I'd be like, no, that thing's a heart. Oh, you got the heart, that's actually a heart. I constantly saying that.
That's a heart.
And he goes, yeah, I know, okay, line 316.
And moving on. Yes?
Some of your favorite fight scenes from the show.
I don't want to give away any spoilers.
Before, spoilers.
We need, like, earmuffs.
Cover your ears.
What about the Supreme Choices?
Let me think of
Three's
any
pretty
of the
good.
fight scenes that have already been broadcast. The tennis fight scene is brilliant. I love that.
That's brilliant, yeah.
Oh man, there's so many good. I don't want to give away any spoilers. So, but believe me, there's some really good stuff coming up.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
If you could choose any article of clothing that you own
That
to
I own.
all of a sudden have a personality and talk to you and mentor you and be your BFF, which would it be?
Probably it would have to be my cowboy hat.
Interesting. It would be a
Yeah.
hat.
It would have to be my cowboy
I
hat.
don't think I've ever seen you wear a cowboy hat.
Oh yeah, I've got a
3-star Goku
Stetson.
cowboy regalia.
That's one of my favorite hats. It's just awkward to wear. It's
Stetsons are cool.
Yes. Just because my Stetson would guide me to really understand the fact that hair is for girls. Just kidding, guys. No. I just think that I just love the hat, and it would guide me to have just the right amount of swagger. What about you? If you had an article of clothing, what
gosh,
article of
that's hard.
clothing? Girls, it's different because you guys
There's
have so
so
many different
many
clothes.
clothes.
For me, it's t-shirt, jeans, and a
Oh,
hat.
Christina, does Christina have one? You seem ready.
Maybe my boots. I think that'd be great. I wear them every day. They're sturdy.
What kind of boots?
These kinds. Wait,
Those
maybe I should
look
do
cool.
that. They're brown riding boots, leather.
Make you run fast.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, the article of clothing that I wear the most are these sweatpants that I've had since high school. And they're like holes in the bottom, and it's like all brown, and the drawstring has come out. And it's so loose, it comes out to here, because it's like there's no drawstring, so I actually have to take a hairband and tie it in a knot in order to stay on. But I love them, and they're so comfortable, but they're so disgusting that I would be afraid if all of a sudden those pair of pants could talk to me. I would be like terrified about how I think it would be very upset with me.
Those are called comfy bridges. Anybody else have a question?
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Go have lunch.
Sheila?
So, in your character's voices, discuss the weapon.
Oh boy.
Ryuko, cover your butt. It's sunny outside. You might get burnt.
Ryuko isn't here right now because I kicked her butt!
It's really, really bright outside.
Hey. Woo!
You, sir.
Yes, and I think this, I'm sorry, you had a moment when Ryoko, when she actually fully transformed, Stephanie and everything. You
Are you talking about Seni Soshits? I don't know what the line is. I can't hear you, Martin.
Scissor blade decapitation.
Scissor blade decapitation mode?
Yes.
That's pretty loud.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? Scissor blade decapitation mode!
Woo!
Thank you. That's where they pay us big bucks. Go ahead.
So, did you ever, because I know she put on blast, it's very hot. Do you ever go in and record and, do a gig and you bring in props and it makes it, and you feel more real doing it, or do you just never do that?
Yeah, I pretty much would go in and record nude. No.
But are you nude though? Would you be nude because you are clothing?
I am clothing.
So I mean, does that mean you're naturally not?
I would just wear something very skimpy. I would wear a bikini.
That's awesome.
No, I can't say that I've ever used a prop in the booth. You know what we do in the booth though, is honestly we're bouncing around in there like monkeys. You literally, I move around all the time. You just have to make sure you keep your mouth on the microphone because you don't want to, when you're doing that, otherwise you ruin the take. But I mean, voice acting is acting. It's acting. We do on camera and acting, theater. Your theater, Stephanie's done TV and lots of theater as well. So we definitely move around a lot, and you get into it. But I can't say that I've honestly used any physical props or brought anything with me into the booth.
I had one. They were, well, I didn't bring it, they gave it to me, it was a cigarette for Footy Cootie, because Mom Mimi has a cigarette at one scene, and so then the engineer, I don't know where he got the cigarette, the engineer didn't smoke, I don't know where we found the cigarette, because I don't remember anyone who worked on that smoking, but then he took my cigarette, and then he even wrote Never Knows Best on the cigarette for me.
That's
and
awesome.
Then that's the one
That's
that was
awesome.
The prop as I was recording.
Who was directing that?
Mark Handler
Awesome.
directing that. But the engineer was the one who gave it to me.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I've never actually done. I've had an actor come in with fingerless gloves, because the character had fingerless gloves or something like that, and I think it's just more like fun, excitement type of thing. I do think that body position, like Dave said, is very important, because you don't your voice, your whole body is almost like a vessel, or it's something that your voice moves through. And so when that body changes shape or is in different position, it alters the tone of the sound. So oftentimes, if the character is pointing or moving, as long as I'm not moving my head, I will try to do those motions at the time that I'm doing it, If I'm hanging from something and I'm talking, like just me doing this right now, my voice kind of naturally went up a little bit. I don't know if you noticed, but it's that kind of stuff that happens when you change your body. So I tend to, if they're holding something, I'll do this. If they have their hands on my hip, I tend to do that. I don't do it all the time, but I tend to try to do that.
There was a scene, or an episode in Sailor Moon where Ray is wearing a sig mask the entire time. So the director-engineer gave me a sig mask, and so I was recording it with that on. And also in Magi, for the first couple of volumes, my character's barefoot, so I thought it'd be fun to, walk around like she did, so I recorded that one barefoot.
I had a scene where I was playing a fish creature, and the fish creature had to talk like he was underwater. And so, how do you talk? How do you sound like you're underwater? And so, it's not a prop, so to speak, but you like talk like you're underwater, So, doing stuff like that would be probably the closest to a prop that I know. Question? All the way back.
What was
The weirdest line that Senket's had to do. It would probably be the announcements for the upcoming episodes and the titles, because they're titles of songs and they're so stinking random. And I would have to say it in a serious voice of, something like, coming up next on Kill la Kill, the girl just can't get it, or something along those lines. Just random things that I would have to say, and I would have to say it with a straight face. Or that, or Seni Shoshis, which, just so you guys know, okay, so Hiroe was the lead producer on the series. Hiroe is a native of Japan. And I think she's from, we call it Osaka, but it's Osaka, is how it's properly pronounced. And so doing a line like Seni Shoshits, which means nothing to me, learning from her what it's supposed to mean, and for her and for Alex, the director, honestly, pronunciation had to be perfect. And so we probably did Seni Shoshits 20 times, because I would do it, Seni Shoshits, and she would be like, no, David, it's Seni Shoshits. And I sound like I did it exactly because I'm like, Seni Shoshits. No, David, Seni Shoshits. And so doing like that type of stuff until you realize after you've done it 20 times that you're saying Seni Shoshits and it makes no sense to you whatsoever. That was funny. Craziness. You had a question up here. Yes.
There are some people that don't watch Kill Kill only because the animation is completely different from other animes. So what would you guys say to those people?
Think outside of the box. What I would say to those people, what he asked is he said that there are some folks who have not watched or will not watch Kill la Kill because the animation is different than other animes. What I would tell them is you've got to expand your horizons because you're missing out on something pretty special if you're going to judge a book by its cover before you even open the book.
They don't want to watch it because it doesn't look like anime, or they think it looks ugly, or...
It's just way different. Like, if you take a look at a new anime, everything would be more weird. As for Kill la Kill, it's more like manga.
But I think in the anime there's a lot of different styles, you know? There's a lot of different styles. It just seems interesting that someone would not... I mean, if someone was like, dude, I hate the art style, I think it's ugly, I don't want to watch it, then I'd be like, all right, well, to each their own. But just to say, like, it's different, or it doesn't look like anime, I think you're really limiting yourself, because even, like, anime doesn't always look like anime, it's always changing, it's always, you know, things are altering. And for me personally, I watch anime for the story, and not, like, it always helps if I love the art, but I really watch it for the story, so.
And I would say to them, doesn't anime look different from every other form of animation around the world? Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Just like that. Just like that.
Or I'd be like, watch the subtitles, and then you don't have to pay attention to the art.
We got two. Who's going first? Okay.
Thumb wrestle.
Like, did you guys ever get to meet Sushio, the character designer?
Yes. Sushio. Sushio's the character designer, and I did get to meet him at Anime Expo this year. The voice actress is the Seiyu who plays Ryuko and Lady Satsuki came to Los Angeles along with Sushio and some of the other folks from Trigger. And so, yeah, it was a real honor and privilege to get to meet them, and just funny, nice people. Really, really nice people.
I was wondering, I know the DVD for episode 23 hasn't come out yet, but as maybe would you be able to say, welcome to the runway of death?
I don't remember saying that. Did I say that? Is it
At the very end of 23, after the credits, when Nui pops into the credits, she comes in. I don't know if they've changed the line because to actually make the animation fit the voice.
Oh, for the ADR stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but in the Japanese version, she says, well, when she interrupts, she says, welcome to the runway of death.
I'll say it. I don't remember how I said it, or if that was the line. If that's, was it like just...
Is it crazy?
Or was it, yeah, that's how or was it like...
Trying too much like, welcome to the runway of death. Something like that.
But that seems very like pleasant. Was she pleasant? Or was she like crazy?
She was
Pleasant crazy.
She was
She
kind
was
of
pleasantly crazy. Sure. Yeah, so it's welcome to the runway of death. Is that pleasantly crazy? I have no idea what that is. Any other questions?
Anybody else? All the way in the back.
What is your favorite anime that you've ever seen and or worked on?
Oh, it's so hard.
You know, when I was a little kid, I mean, there's so much good anime out there, but I'll just be nostalgic and go back to the first anime that I ever watched as a child, and that was an anime called Star Blazers. Yeah, old school. That was one that I grew up watching, and I absolutely loved that show growing up. That and Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Oh, Cowboy Bebop was good. Cowboy Bebop was one of my favorites.
And Kill la Kill.
I really liked Kodomo no Mocha. I also really like Ranma.
Good show.
What other things? Hard, there's so many.
My favorite growing up was Sailor Moon.
Woo!
And I think one of my new favorites is the Madoka Magica series. Like complete opposites. It's great.
And then I really liked when I was younger, Fushigi Yugi. But I realized I've only watched that show once. Like, the first time you watch it, it's great. And it's like so suspenseful. And then the second time you watch it, you're like, oh my god, this is so cheesy.
There was another anime by the same person who did Fushigi Yugi, which is why I watched it. It's called Ceres.
Yeah, it's Ayashi no Ceres.
Have you seen it?
No. I watched one episode and I didn't really like it. I read the manga. I love the manga, and I wasn't really that happy with the way they handled the anime, so then I just stopped watching it. But that's super dramatic.
So tragic.
It's so tragic and dramatic. But I feel like that's like an older, more mature version. Like Fushigi Yugi is like so silly and ridiculous sometimes. But the first time I watched it, I didn't even realize it. I was like, this is the best show ever.
Yes. Well, we've got two of you. You and then you're next. Okay, go ahead. Challenging roles. What he asked was what was the most challenging roles that we've had to play. Senket was actually pretty challenging. Just getting into what we do is I call it sinking into the character's voice, finding the character's voice and sinking into it. And a lot of times what will happen is you'll record maybe 1 or 2 full episodes before you actually sink into the character's voice, where you just tap right back into it once you're back in the booth. So Senketch was a challenge, physically challenging, and I think we had discussed this yesterday a bit, and that is going to be the Halo types of games, the Spec Ops, those games where you're screaming your lungs out and yelling, "Get down, grenade!" Those types of things. Maybe not so much emotionally taxing, but physically can be very taxing on your voice.
I know Erica would come home. She's like, I just did Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, Erica.
Well, she's like, that's why sometimes to watch the first episode, I was like, everybody is yelling all the time.
Yeah.
Like, did they book you for 4-hour sessions? Or they at least they booked you for 2-hour sessions?
Yeah, 2-hour sessions.
That's
which was
nice.
good.
Yeah, they booked me, basically, they started off booking me, like, for longer sessions, and then once Nui gets a little more crazy, then I was like, all right, guys, you can only book me for 2-hour sessions from now on.
Yeah. It gets crazy when you're screaming for hours on end, and you'll start to lose your voice, and you're in trouble.
It's also strange. It's the stuff that like we do for Sailor Moon. Like Usagi does a lot of screaming, but it's like clean screaming, which is like there's no texture in it. You know, it's scared and like there's like a clear tone. It's close to singing, so there's not that much damage of it. But the show like Kill la Kill is so like it's gritty and like if like Nui gets crazy, you have to add texture to it, and you can't add texture without really damaging your chords for a bit. So all the stuff that's like rough and the breath and stuff, that's the stuff that's more damaging, even if it's quiet, than is, just screaming. but then to scream and do that's when it gets super taxing.
It's actually
Poor
where
Erica.
you scream and it comes out up here.
Well, that's,
Singing what you're saying.
yeah. Like
Singing
if
up and
like
out.
I can fall off a cliff like for 4 hours, it doesn't matter. It's not really that strenuous, you
Yeah.
know, because you can do it in a way that you're not really harming yourself.
You had a question? Senkits would be a lot more embarrassed about being about being so exposed. No, you know what's so cool about Senkets and Ryuko is just they've got that unique relationship, and as the series goes on, without giving away any spoilers, as the series moves on, what to me is really fun is watching that relationship between those two characters evolve. Because at first, she's like, what the heck is this? What's going on? But as they move forward and as they get to know each other and their relationship just grows, I think it's one of the really neat aspects about the show. So I think if the roles were reversed, and I think probably they would get to know each other a lot faster. Because perhaps Senkets may not be as bashful as
Do you think
Ryuko.
Ryuko would be more bossy than
Ryuko
you
would
were?
definitely be more bossy. And Ryuko could get away with telling Senkets to stop eating so many croquettes. Any other question? Yes.
What was your favorite part about working with the creative team who makes the show possible?
My favorite part? Well, you know what? The thing that I like is that I liked the people. I mean, we're in there by ourselves, so I don't see these guys at all. It's just me, and then director Alex Swan David and Hiroway. And Alex and Hiroway have kind of been a team on a lot of shows. They do Sword Art, same team. They did Blue Exorcist, Madoka.
Good shows.
What else? I feel like I'm missing. I feel like it's been tons and tons of projects. And Alex himself, he directed Haruhi and Lucky Star. And so I've worked with him a lot. So, and this spans many, many years. There's a level of trust. We both trust each other. And it's nice because generally your job as an actor is really to just shut up and do what the director says. So you don't really have much. You have control of your performance, but you have limited control of your performance because you don't get to pick what take they want. You don't really even get to do it the way that you want to do it, so to speak. But when you have a good rapport and you have respect and you have trust and stuff, it can be more of a collaborative process, Whereas sometimes you'll get a tricky moment, the flapping is weird, or the moment seems a little awkward or strange in English, it doesn't make sense or whatever. And, Alex is confident enough as a director to loop the actor in instead of just, making a decision or, it's a process, and so you kind of find it together, which is really nice, and Hiroway as well. So that's what I like the most about working on a show with them. We've done it so many times. There's a friendship and there's respect and there's trust and that's such a great thing to have and it doesn't always happen. So yeah, and plus they're really funny. Both of them are really funny, and they have a funny dynamic, especially when they disagree. The way they hash it out is really funny.
It's awesome. I'm just gonna parrot what she said. Honestly, I love those two. They are an awesome team. They work so well together. Hiroway and Alex both. Hiroway just cracks me up. She's just delightful. And Alex, I've worked with both of them for years, and so for me, it's just a privilege, and it's getting to go in and really work with friends, and so it's fantastic, and they're both, so focused. There's no question about, you know, their commitment to producing the most top-notch, top-quality ADR for these anime series, you know, Kill la Kill obviously included. So for me, I have the utmost respect for them, and you're right. It is your job as the actor is to listen to your director and give them what they're asking. Obviously, you're going to bring yourself to it, but ultimately, you want to make sure that you're on the same page with the director and producer, and make sure that you're delivering exactly what it is that they're looking for, because they know what they're doing.
Alex directed me on my very first show, and since then he's really sweet. He always checks up on me, and he's been nothing but encouraging, and he's really helped me. I feel like Madoka Magica really changed the way I act. I think I really, I think that show really taught me how to act in anime. And yeah, I'm really grateful to him. So whenever I get to work with him, I'm really excited to see what performances we're going to get.
Yes.
Now that you've voiced for an article of clothing, what would you say is the weirdest roles that you guys have ever voice acted for? I mean, Senketsu's obviously a very strange character, especially considering the fact that he's, again, an article of clothing. I mean, what would you say is the weirdest role you've had?
I would say there's a couple of them. Right now, one of them that is actually my favorite is I'm playing on a little kids show. It's not an anime, but it's a kids show on Sprout, and I'm playing a rabbit with an Indian accent. Who is teaching the children about exercise. It's so much fun. And then you guys, and I can announce this now because Funimation just announced it, but there's an anime that's based on a video game series called Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Woo! Yeah!
Really, you guys have got to get this anime when it comes out. I voiced this character, Anonadeth. And Anonadeth is this robot that just looks badass, right? Except when he speaks, it's, oh my gosh, you guys! It's so fabulous!
It's basically
getting to voice a character like that was just hysterical. I had a great time doing it. So.
It's Megatron from Beast Wars, basically.
Pretty much. Megatron from Beast Wars, yes. Absolutely. So yeah, those are a couple of fun ones that are out now.
Are you looking through your credits?
Yeah. It says I voiced a fetus in Nura. Voicing Pokemon was really fun. Let's see. Oh, I got to voice this little three-eyed squirrel thing from Blood Lad, and he was insane. Oh, and then this other character, also he's like this green cat things from Fairy Fencer F, and he's talking, and he's really like regal and commanding, but he has my voice. He's like, oh, my boy, we're gonna go on this awesome journey together. And he has like a sword stabbed in his head, and he's like, don't ask me about that, it's a really long story. Let's see. Oh, and there was also a period of my life where I was voicing Purikura booths in English. So you would go in, instead of the Japanese voice, it'd be me like, hey, come in and give me your money. Let's take a picture. Pose. That was really fun.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all at some point it's all weird.
Yeah.
I stopped being surprised. But I had I don't think anything like strange. Nothing like too strange. Shows have been strange, but I guess Gemma is kind of strange. It's a yellow ball from the Digicatat series. But if you know Digicatat, it doesn't seem strange because Gemma is Gemma, you know? I don't think anything else. I think that's it.
They're all strange. Go ahead.
Is there any character you want to voice?
All of them. I mean, yeah, there's, anytime we get to audition for something, you always want to get the part. There was one character in particular called the character Hidan in Naruto Shippuden that I really did want to play because he was crazy, and I like crazy. So yeah, there's tons and tons of characters that I would love to have gotten to play.
I'd love to be in the Street Fighter series one day. I think that'd be great.
Are there more unvoiced characters, or just like they just have multiple actors for the existing characters?
In Street Fighter?
Yeah.
I think they like make new characters.
They make new characters.
Yeah.
Just mentioning what you said about you, Don. They actually online were saying that it was you until the English version came out and said in the credits.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
See? I was onto something. I should have played. No, I'm just kidding. Whoever the voice actor was who actually played him did a fabulous job. I'm sure. But
We have 10 minutes left, you guys.
Yes.
Make your questions good.
Got it.
Which one do you find most? Which character do you find most of?
I can't hear you, partner.
Which character you find most in the voiceover?
Did you say pride?
Pride.
Like most proud of? What character we're most proud of? I can't pick one.
Like asking us to pick our favorite children.
Yeah, exactly.
I could say there's a few of them. The ones that come off the top of my head, Grimjow from Bleach was one of my all-time favorite characters I've gotten to play. Vaughn from a series that not many people have seen.
Gun X Sword.
Gun Times Sword. Which was really a fun series. One that I really did like was Martial Law in Tekken, and then I love playing Senketsu in Kill la Kill, which has been fabulous.
I'm really glad that I get to be in Sailor Moon, and also I play a character in the new Final Fantasy game that came out last week, and so that makes me really, really happy because those are the things I grew up playing and watching.
Favorite meal prior to recording?
Nothing. I can't record on a full stomach.
Oh, I try to have a little something in my stomach just because if I don't, then
Well,
my
you're
stomach
hungry.
growls into the microphone.
But don't you find that if you're hungry, like there have been times when I've gone to a session and I'm like starving because I'm running around and I didn't get to eat, and I'm like I'm starving, and they go, well then eat something, and then you eat something, and then it gets like before it wasn't growling, I was just starving, and then once I eat something, it starts making all this noise. It's
Yeah,
like
that's
trying to
true.
digest it. Yeah. I'm not saying go to your sessions hungry, but I don't eat anything right before.
Yeah, I just had like juice, probably orange juice. It used to be like a coffee, but I can't do that anymore. My body rejects it.
I love the coffee at Studiopolis.
I haven't tried it. Is it what's different about it?
I don't know. It's just like.
Is it like a special machine that makes like cappuccinos?
No, I don't like those individual curd things. It's like coffee, and I put hazelnut creamer in it, and it's really good. Except for hazelnut creamer is like 200 calories.
It is so good.
It is
One of my
so
favorites,
good.
too.
Yeah.
Besides for the characters that you voice in Kill la Kill, if you had to pick, what would be another character that you would have loved to voice?
I would have loved to have voiced Gamagori. But here's the thing, Patrick Seitz. Patrick is a good friend of mine. I love him to death. He knocked it out of the ballpark with Gamagori. He did just a fantastic job, but I love that character. And if there was any other character that I would have wanted to have voiced, it would have been Gamagori. It's hysterical. That and Matt Mercer killed it as Kinigami, but
Mikisugi.
Oh my gosh, the scene, and I can say this because it's not a spoiler, but nudist beach. To me, honestly, I lost it when he went. I was dying. So funny.
I think that Mako looks like a ton of fun. And again, too, Christina's perfect for that part. And yeah, but it looks like one of those crazy, insane characters, and I love being the hyper crazy girl.
I think probably, either Mako or Rakio. They both seem like interesting, fun things to play.
Yes.
Do you have any tips for aspiring voice
You want to go first?
You guys can go, but I was going to say we have two panels actually coming up.
Yeah, we have, there's the voice actor Q&A that's at 2 to 3:30, but then at 3:30 there's a business of voice acting. So that's better.
And also I've got voice acting tryouts tomorrow, so if you're here tomorrow, you can get up on microphone and I'll take you through the motions. It's fun. But yeah, we're happy to tell you. Honestly, that's one of my favorite things to do is just to give you advice as to how to get into the business if you want to.
That's your favorite thing
So
to
stay
do?
tuned.
That's really your favorite thing to do?
I love to do that, yeah. You don't want to know why?
That's
Because
really sweet,
I
because most
remember,
voice actors, they get that question a lot, and sometimes they get tired of it.
Sure, we get tired. We get asked it a lot, but the reason why I actually like to discuss it is because I remember when I was in high school, and it was my senior year of high school, and I wanted to act. And I remember going with my class down to I was in Colorado at the Denver Center of Performing Arts, and we watched a production of Man of La Mancha. And I remember all of my classmates made me feel like the biggest jerk, because afterward there was a Q&A with the actors. And they were all asking their random questions, and I asked, well, how can I be an actor? And of course all my friends made me feel like a complete schmuck for it.
They made fun of you.
They made fun of me. But the actor that I asked that question took the time and explained to me, well, here's what you want to do, and just kind of like gave me some good advice as to how to start a career in acting. So to me, I always look at that as just paying it forward. I don't care how many times I get asked it. I'm happy to.
That's nice. I love that story. I really like that story. I don't mind getting asked the question. For me, my pet peeve is that when people ask me a question, or when it's not so much that, like there have been times when people have asked like friends of friends, or somebody me and said, hey, can you meet me, or can I have a phone call with you, pick your brain about whatever, and I'm like, sure. And then I'm spending 30 minutes with it, and the only time that it upsets me is when it's clear that that person who's expressed an interest in pursuing acting has not done any research at all. And they're basically asking me questions that they could get on the internet and find out, It's very, very simple questions. And like, now it's like, my time is so precious, I'm giving up my time for something that like, it's almost a waste. Like the information that they're asking me is like out there, That's the only time I get annoyed at that type of thing.
I think we've got time for one more question. So who's got a doozy? No one! Thanks for coming! All right, well you, sir.
No Pokemon? My favorite one is Jigglypuff, because the fact that he thinks that he's an awesome singer, I can relate. No. I'm just kidding. Who came up with that? It's Pokemon that sings, it makes people fall asleep, and then draws on their faces and gets upset. It's too crazy.
I'm going to introduce Dave to his favorite Pokemon. So I'm Googling it. I don't know the name of it.
That Pokemon!
Oh, here it is. Here it is. I think is a Tyrantrum. It's like this T-Rex. He's a T-Rex, but he's like also metal, like a robot T-Rex. I think that's pretty sweet. Tyrantum.
So he's metal.
I like
metal.
Pikachu.
You
Yeah.
like who?
Pikachu? You know Pikachu.
Oh, Pikachu. I know Pikachu.
I love Pikachu.
Here we go. Mr. Chocolate? I don't know.
I also love Snorlax. Are you sensing a theme here? I love to
Sleep.
Yeah.
All right, last shot. Go ahead, real quick.
I was just wondering if you could, when it's time to panel end, if you could end it with your favorite ending scene, like your favorite end card.
Oh,
like
on for Sent from Senkets.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hang on. Let me think for a second. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. And stay tuned for the next Kill la Kill. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Oh, that's a good one.
True story.
That's a good one.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Woo!
Thank you for coming. We have got more panels, so please come.